Hey guys, welcome back to the Exam Revision YouTube channel. My name is Ellen and today I'm going to be talking to you about how to make the best study notes. This might sound really random, but if you do know me from my own YouTube channel, when I did the Leaving Cert, I had pretty great notes, if I may say so myself. I wrote my own notes for all of my subjects and to be honest, they are the reason I got the grades that I did. Now, I do want to preface this video by saying everyone is different. People learn differently. For me personally, I learn by writing, by making it look pretty, by honestly writing it over and over again. So writing notes really helped me, especially for the science subjects that I did, to really drill stuff into my brain without just sitting there and staring at a book or a page or something and trying to learn something off. Writing things just really helped me learn stuff. I also want to say that notes can either be physical or digital. If you want to write notes on your iPad, if that works for you, that's great. If you want to write notes on paper, that's great too. It's whatever suits you, to be honest. In the Leaving Cert, I wrote all of my notes on refill pad paper and then I used folders to organize all my subjects. But now that I'm in college, I do it all digitally and write on my iPad and keep them like that. So whatever suits you, that's great for you. The first thing I want to talk about is whether you use either a book, like a textbook for your subject, or your teacher gives you notes. Whatever it is, when the teacher is talking through the book or talking through the notes, I will be highlighting important things that the teacher is talking about, as in if they start going on a ramble or really talking in specifics about one certain thing, then definitely be highlighting that so you know that that's important when you're writing in your notes. I would also highlight things that I maybe didn't understand so that after class I could either talk to the teacher about it or I could go home and I could Google about it or watch a video or whatever. But I did write all of my own notes at home. I wouldn't write them like when the teacher is talking because in my opinion, it's really important to listen to the teacher. I know everybody says that and your teacher will say, you know, you gotta listen, whatever. But honestly, even when the teacher was talking, I would try and pick up what they're talking about and try and understand it in my head in order to learn it. So all my notes were written at home when I already kind of understood what was going on. So highlighting things I didn't understand, I could go away, Google it, learn about it, whatever, so that when I was writing my notes, I would understand it. Basically, I would not be writing notes about anything I didn't understand. I wouldn't just be copying from a book or copying from notes. Nothing like that, because that's just pointless. I would make sure everything I'm writing down I understood. When writing my notes, I would use a lot of visual aids. For the science subjects, this would contain like all of like your diagrams. I would write all my own diagrams, draw all my own diagrams, because a lot of the time in the exam you're gonna have to draw it anyway, so you may as well start learning. I would use like flow charts or graphs. If there was like a big piece of information, I could condense it down and make it into a pretty graph and use pretty colors, and for me that really helps. Also in this section will be like color coding. I would use a lot of color coding for my different subjects in school, and a lot of people think it's unnecessary and say like your notes don't need to look pretty, but to me that was really important, because for me I don't want like a big folder full of notes just written with pens or pencils and it looks so boring and nothing that you actually want to look at and read. So it was important to me not to like cram things on a page. Use as much paper as you need, write it how you want to write it, decorate it how you want to decorate. Obviously you don't like go out of your way and spend hours drawing something, but using highlighters and pretty markers and things like that really helped me, because it gave me even like a little break to draw something on the side from writing my notes. So having pretty notes was definitely a must for me. Everyone just thought I would just have really aesthetic notes for no reason, but to me that actually really helped and made me want to actually read the notes and read the paper instead of just opening a folder and it looks so boring. It's also really important if you have like big information, like let's say in biology you might have photosynthesis. That's a lot of information. You don't want to just like write a paragraph or anything like that, because when you're coming back to it, reading a paragraph is a lot more difficult than reading bullet points, and it's also a lot more easier to memorize bullet points than a massive paragraph. Also with things like that, like photosynthesis, stuff like that, diagrams really help. And again, as I'm saying, they help you understand, and understanding while writing your notes is the biggest thing. There is no point writing stuff down that you don't understand or just copying stuff down from a book. It just makes no sense. Along those lines, it's also really important how you write your notes and where you get your material from. Writing notes from a textbook can be really difficult, because I find in Leaving Cert textbooks there's a bunch of information that's unnecessary, especially in subjects like chemistry or something. There's a bunch of information about the history of something that you don't need to know. So then it's kind of hard to write your notes because you don't really know what you're meant to know, what's important and what's not. If your teacher gives you notes, that is a great aid to write your notes from. But also exam questions are great because you can focus your notes all around the exam scheme and everything you actually need to know. In a lot of my notes for most of my subjects, I would have a bunch of exam questions. I would usually have a bunch of pages in my folder designated to like exam questions that I personally found difficult and I didn't really understand. Or if it's coming closer to the Leaving Cert or Junior Cert, exam questions that I don't really understand where the answer is coming from, but you can memorize that answer off. Because again, a lot of the questions on exams are very, very repetitive. So if you go through all of the exam questions and you're doing them all and you find a certain one that you find tricky or you don't really understand, write those down in your notes, because again, they might come up in your Leaving Cert, and even if you don't understand the answer, at least you will know what the answer is. If your teacher doesn't give you notes and you only have a textbook to write your notes from, I would definitely recommend investing in ExamRevision courses or bundles. They have video lessons, presentations, quizzes, exam questions, and you can use all this material to base your notes around, because ExamRevision courses are all based around the exam, based around the Leaving Cert or the Junior Cert, and so you know the material you're writing down is actually important and you will need to know. The last thing I'm going to talk about is keeping your notes updated. What I mean by this is basically throughout the year, I think especially with maths, as you learn more of the material in maths, like in class, a lot of things start to make sense and like kind of intertwine. So I think it's nice to go back on your notes and like write little notes to yourself and say like, oh, well, we can use this to use this, or blah, blah, blah. Basically, as you're learning new material in like the maths course, it relates back to a lot of old material, and so you can write yourself little notes on how they relate to each other. Anyway, I hope this video helps you guys out. Make sure to check out the link below for ExamRevision courses. They are incredible, and I will talk to you all very soon. Bye!